In this short video, I want to talk about making change stick or making learning stick, either one. So if you're a trainer or you're a coach, you work with individuals or teams or groups, and you are helping them learn something new or do something new, what you really want is to make sure that change or that learning lasts. And often it doesn't. So what do we do? What do we need to do to help our learners, help our clients, help our participants, our teams? How do we help them make change stick? Well, first of all, you need to know that when we as human beings learn, we need to practice, practice, practice. That's probably not a surprise, but that is the thing. How do you get your people, your learners, to practice? How do you help them do what they need to do so they're ingraining this new behavior in their brain, in their bodies, and in their habits? How do you help them get that to a place where it's second nature, or at least comfortable? Well, I have 4 things that help people. 4 things that I want to give you that you can use as guidelines. And these 4 things are motivation, commitment, self-discipline, and structures. So I'm going to go through each one. So motivation. Of course, if we're motivated, we're going to do something. Motivation creates neurotransmitters in the brain that tell our brain, okay, let's go do something. Motivation is exciting. Yeah, we do things. We will practice if we're motivated. And a lot of times as coaches, I know as a coach myself, I've worked a lot on helping my clients be motivated, which is great. Oh, get them motivated, create visions, create ideas, get in line with values and life purpose. All that is really motivating, and it helps us move towards something when we're motivated. But here's the thing you need to know, is that motivation is not enough. Motivation uses the emotional brain, which is a great thing. That in itself is not a bad thing. It's just that the emotional brain is not consistent. If somebody decides that a change they want to make is getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning instead of sleeping much later, and maybe they're going to do a practice in the morning, or they're going to go running or exercise or something, if that's not already a habit, then it might be a big change for them. So get them motivated. Wow, I'm going to do this exercise program. I'm going to look like this at the end of it. Great, might be motivated. But at 5 o'clock in the morning, motivation is not at hand. Motivation is not readily at hand. There will be other emotions that are stronger, like I want to stay in bed or I'm tired. Those will be the overriding emotions of the moment. So motivation is great, gets us started, gets us down, started on a path and identifying things we want to do, but don't count on it to be enough to get people to practice. What they really need is commitment and a few other things, but commitment is essential for having people practicing and going on and practicing more and more and more. So commitment, 5 o'clock in the morning, person has said they want to get out of bed. Commitment is going to work better for them, knowing that they've committed. Okay, I've committed to this. I know I'm heading in this direction. That is going to go a lot further at that difficult moment than some kind of motivation that they had the day before or the week before. So how do you get people to commit? It's actually quite simple in a way. Not simple to do necessarily. You want people to be honest, of course, but it's simple for them to realize this is the thing I want to do. I'm making a declaration. They might actually write it down and sign it. That's a way to commit. Here is a signed piece of paper. It actually tells the brain, yes, I'm going to do this. You can have people stand up and cross a line. This is a line of commitment I'm crossing. Yes, I'm going to do this thing. You can have people call up 10 of their friends and tell them I'm doing this thing. Announce it on social media. These kind of things express commitment and help us create a pathway for, yes, no kidding, I'm doing this. Yeah, it's exciting or not. I'm still going that way. So that's the second thing, is commitment. The third is self-discipline. So even if I've set this road that I'm going on, I'm really committed, or your learners are really committed to this pathway, that motivation might really be really, really, really low, and the commitment might even flag a little bit. So how do you help them have the power within themselves to get themselves moving, to get themselves past the low motivation and do what they don't feel like doing in that moment? This comes from a different part of the brain. While motivation comes from the emotional part of the brain, both commitment and self-discipline come from the prefrontal cortex. This prefrontal cortex is this very advanced, evolved part of the brain that makes us very human. And the job of the prefrontal cortex is to set goals, stay committed, stay the path, and also manage our emotions. So if you get the prefrontal cortex involved in setting the commitment and the self-discipline, you have a much higher likelihood of moving towards those goals, those changes, implementing the learning. So have your teams, have your individuals learn self-discipline. It's not an easy thing. A lot of us didn't learn it growing up. We had lots of freedom, and self-discipline kind of fights against freedom. Ultimately, it gives us more freedom, but that's another discussion for another time. So to help people with their self-discipline, have them start small. Have them make one choice that they consistently make over and over and over again. No, I'm not choosing that way to go to work. No, I'm not choosing that thing to eat. I'm going to eliminate that thing. Practice that. Build the strength of self-discipline. It's like a muscle. It needs to be built and practiced and strengthened. So the fourth thing that will help with making learning stick is what I call structures. These are more practical things that people can do, like put something in their calendar or diary, create time in a day, create time in a week, create time with other people, find other people to commit with. If they're going running early in the morning, how can they find a running partner? If you're committed with somebody and you have the structure of a date and a plan, you're more likely to follow through because you've committed to somebody else. The structure of a partner is very powerful. Our brain is a social brain. We're oriented towards other people. We are much more likely to follow through on plans if we've got those partners. So if a team or a group of people are learning something new and you want them to implement that, have them get in accountability groups together. This peer pressure that gets created in those accountability groups is incredibly powerful. They support one another and they create plans together, much more likely to do things. So we've got motivation that comes from the emotional brain. It's great to get things started, get people excited to, yes, I want to do this. You've got commitment that will help them create a pathway. Yes, I'm going this way. I've declared that I will. We've got self-discipline that will help people follow through from their own motivation or internal strength. And we've got structures, which is about really creating those external things that help people follow through, and really consider having those people have partners, other people involved in those structures. So that's it. Use those 4 things. You'll go far with helping people learn, helping people make their learning stick, helping people make change stick.